I got given a Teach Yourself yoga book that got me into learning yoga, and Brian got into yoga as well. And then we went to Nepal, and we went to a yoga teacher who happened to be from the Satyananda yoga tradition, and he sort of set us on that path of yoga. Afterwards we went to London and we went to the sister school there, the Satyananda yoga school there. After doing sort of our own practice and then classes there, we saved up money and decided to do a one-year course in Bihar Yoga University in Bihar, India. Basically, for a whole year we had a whole yogic experience, early morning waking up and yoga classes, meditation classes, classes in techniques of relaxation, specifically yoga nidra. We had lectures on yoga psychology, philosophy, physiology. From there, came to Cape Town and yeah, I have been teaching ever since in this centre in Sea Point.
The idea behind starting our center after coming back from India was that we felt that Satyananda Yoga was unique in its approach to how it teaches yoga, and it felt like a much more authentic tradition than a lot of what's seen in the West as yoga. Most of the yoga, unfortunately, is misrepresented in the West, which was one of the beauties of spending a year in the ashram, really, in that we got to imbibe a yogic lifestyle. And yoga is really about living and about finding and using your life, whatever your circumstances may be, as a means to transform yourself and to better yourself or evolve yourself, however you see that happening.
It's not just postures. In fact, that's very little of what we do. Simple methods, learning to breathe properly or to connect with your breath when you're feeling stressed or spun out. Just learning to, I think, go back into yourself and to connect with your own sense of inner quiet and inner stillness, and with that you get such a sense of strength and stability that I think you're able to deal with whatever situation you find yourself in with a lot more positivity and a lot more connectedness. And then obviously your interactions with others are coming from a place of more awareness.
A large focus of what gets done at the ashram is a branch of yoga known as Seva Yoga, which is service. And basically there's the vision of Swami Satyananda, which is basically to uplift humanity. And he does that by adopting the villages in the area that his ashram is, which happens to be one of the poorest parts of India, lots of poverty and lots of people that really have nothing. And he's taken that area, and you can see each time we've been back there how the area is just becoming more and more uplifted through his work there and through his vision and inspiration, which everyone who goes there helps become part of. So we learned a hell of a lot about yoga and social work, I suppose. You not only work personally on yourself, but taking what you're learning and taking those fruits of your work on yourself when you start to feel a little bit more peaceful, a little bit more content, a little bit more compassionate. The other branches of yoga is really to take that out into your community and into,
If it's needed.
you know, you've got to try bring everyone up with and along the path with you. When we went to India, to the ashram, I was trying to escape being a vet. I was tired of it, I was disillusioned by the job, I was run down, almost burnt out, you could say. And I was thinking it'll be wonderful, I'll just go study yoga, then I'll come back and I'll be one of these yoga teachers, you know, and it's a great life. And to be honest, I don't know many yoga teachers that don't struggle a bit financially. So it's not as idealistic as it sounds. But the irony was that the teachings that we studied at the ashram gave me an approach to working with my job as a vet and making that the means for my own personal path and growth, and then also I feel I'm a better vet for having these teachings at play in my life. We spend at least 8 hours a day in our normal jobs, and if you're not using that time as a means for spiritual growth, you're wasting a lot of time. And we really, on the planet as human beings, we have to work. Even taking a breath in is working, and you may as well make that work purposeful and meaningful.
The products that I make, the moon seats, meditation cushions, and the yoga clothing already lend themselves very nicely to teaching yoga and to living this kind of lifestyle. When I was working in London and going to the Satyananda Yoga Center there, it was quite a few years ago, I saw someone had a sort of crescent moon-shaped cushion, and I thought that was a really good idea, because the only other ones I'd seen were these big round ones where you sit on the edge anyway, and there was a lot of cushion left behind you and there was no place to put your feet, and it just didn't work for me. So then a few years later, when I came back home to South Africa, I decided to make one for Brian for his birthday, and my mom helped me to make sort of a pattern, and we stuffed it with pure cotton. So when I came back and started teaching in Johannesburg, I made a cushion for myself, which I used to sit on while I was teaching, and then I lent it once to a student who wasn't looking very comfortable, and she loved it, and basically they've just taken off from there. I've just been creating for students, and then it expanded into selling them in different markets and different sort of holistic festivals, and their scope and reach has really broadened.
Largely both of us lead pretty simple lives, and but there's always a dance, and it's a constant sort of play of swinging from being too firm in your spiritual beliefs so that you become too rigid and you don't embrace the material, and then also just going the other way where you become too material and you ignore the spiritual. So that balance is not something that's easily held, but it's obviously what you aspire to. And ultimately for us, I suppose, spirituality really comes down to just being a better person and being more useful to yourself and to others. And it's not a dogma that we follow rigidly, or a religion that we follow. It's something greater than that, which is just, hopefully a means in which we can bring out the best that we each have within ourselves and, into the day and into our lives, and hopefully into other people's lives as well. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.